I think with the questions, I'll ask Aya and Julia the same question, get both their answers, do them one at a time.
Sounds good.
Yeah, okay. Oh, we've got another visitor.
Yeah. And Fred, before we're done, I'd like to ask any guests for their email addresses so that I can send them the brochure and invite them to the virtual tour.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Hi, Teresa. Yes, we can. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Am I the only one?
No, we have somebody else is connecting at the moment.
Okay.
And we have 2 more guests that are going to be arriving at minimum.
Okay.
So maybe we'll give it a couple more minutes. And then I guess, Fred, do you want to start with the questions? Do we want to open it to guests? Or do we want to maybe wait for others to join before we open it to guests? What do you think?
Well, the procedure for me would be just to welcome everybody once they're in, but then we could definitely start with questions. Maybe people have a specific reason for coming in, and if they want to ask those questions, and then like I said, we'll go through the set questions with okay. Yeah.
Oh, Belinda has joined us. Hi, Belinda.
Am I mute? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. How are you?
Great, thank you. How are you doing?
Good, good. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we can begin.
Okay. So welcome, I'd like to welcome you all today. We appreciate you all being here. I'm Fred Howe, I'm the principal at WillowWood School. We have another principal for our lower school, Jill Block. She's not with us tonight. But we're going to, I guess, begin the evening by fielding any questions. That will give any other participants that want to join us the opportunity to come in. And then once we've fielded those questions, we will direct some questions at our panel for them to answer. So you get a little more background on their experiences with WillowWood. So I guess at this time, I'll open it up for questions if anyone has any, and we'll proceed from there. No questions?
Oh, maybe you can go ahead.
Sorry, hi. Should we mute ourselves while everybody else is talking? So
No,
I don't think that's necessary.
Okay.
Linda turned her video on so we can see her.
Yes. No, not really a question. I probably would make a comment from the video that I saw. What interested me was the fact that you spoke to personalization of the material with the students. So looking to understand a little bit more how you fold that into the curriculum. How does that work?
Well, I'm sure everyone's experience is different with this, but I think the main, I guess, impetus is understanding that kids all learn differently, and they approach learning with a variety of strengths and weaknesses, some of which are diagnosed, some of which aren't. And the teachers are all trained to recognize that that's a part of the way you have to address the students, and so that you have to provide in each lesson the opportunity for every student to access the curriculum, which in our case is the Ontario curriculum, and is designed for the kids to reach post-secondary school in Ontario and around the world. But it's a matter of not stuffing the kid into stuffing the curriculum into the kids so much as giving the kids ways to access the curriculum in a more positive way. Adam could actually speak to that for his own personal experience. Adam is one of our alumni. And he probably has a way to describe what he experienced with his teachers as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, so I had accommodations through my entire lower, high, middle, high school, do like
Okay.
life different throughout. And within every level, I like every time I like went through a course, I would be tested accordingly. So whether that be use a computer, or I need to read through an audiobook, or I need extra time, or I need extra explanation, every teacher would accommodate to that.
Okay, all right, very
And
good.
I guess Adam's learning style was also more of a hands-on type of learning style, a more kinesthetic type learner. So you could tell with the industry he's in the music industry now, and he's a
Music.
technician and all
Nice.
kinds of different things, but that kind of led him towards that because his experiences, Adam's a very, very smart guy.
Yeah.
And that intelligence was able to come through with the accommodations he was given in the classroom and some of the
Okay.
strategies he was given as well.
Okay.
Organization and staying on track. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, exactly.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Aya or Julia, did you want to speak to that?
Yeah, actually, it's a valid question, Belinda. My son's been at WillowWood for 3 years, and I had the same
Okay.
question, like how can one teacher possibly adapt to so many different needs? I don't know how they do it, but they do it, and it's actually quite magical. And I think the common denominator is they build on each child's confidence, and
Okay.
that really, I think, opens a child up to being the best possible student they can be. I think when you have self-worth and self-confidence,
Mhm.
it really plays out in the classroom. I can't speak enough about it. And I think with the different, how they approach each child, I think because it's such a small environment,
Yeah.
that each child sort of takes a little bit from the others. And I think it makes them stronger people. Understanding, you know, my son learns visually.
Right.
So, and that's been diagnosed. So, you know, they really do hone in on that, but not at the cost of the other students. And
Right.
again, I can't speak to it, but he's down there doing math right now. I had to remove myself because I couldn't help him. But you know what? He really didn't need my help.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I think it's just an all-round win-win.
And also to add to that, I mean, it's like throughout my time, starting in grade 4 all the way to grade 12, I kind of
Yeah.
put myself into like the tech crew and different like extra things, which like helped build me, which also helped in the classroom because it made me kind of like want to like go to school, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And it made me like, yeah, I'll go, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. Actually, I can tell from, you know, how I see it for my son. He's been at school at WillowWood from grade 3 now,
Yeah.
and he's grade 11. And what I can tell is that WillowWood is very adaptive. It's not. Uh, I'm not saying it in a bad way, but it's not fixed. Okay, so
Yeah.
I remember when we first came to WillowWood, there was this period of time that, you know, my son couldn't attend classrooms for, I would say, probably 3 months. He would miss the morning completely because we had to go to hospital. And I like Julia said, I don't know how they did it, but what happened was that back then, Jill, which is the lower and middle school principal, she
Yeah.
was telling me, you just take care of hospital, I will take care of the school.
Right.
And they did it. They did it completely. You know, it's they are very flexible in terms of when the child needs something, they will provide that, and they will change they can change around. Like I said, I have no idea how. It looks like a miracle
It's
from
like
outside.
magic.
It is
It
magic.
is somewhat
Magic,
magical.
but here's the thing, what Adam says is absolutely true. Like, I have seen that, you know, during these many years that we've been at WillowWood, now he's more interested in so many things. Like, he's
Interesting.
participating. Actually, he's participating not because he has to participate, but because he wants to participate. It's fun for him, you know. That is really nice to see,
Okay.
because he wasn't like that, you know.
Aya, you're making Fred and I blush, okay?
It's
But
all
that's really
true.
serious. I mean,
It is. It's all true.
I'll ask maybe, and this is probably a question for Adam. If you were to walk me through, I don't know how far back in your memory you can go, a day in the life of like a grade 4. I'm dealing with a grade 3-year, so as close as you can get to that, what does that day look like for you when you walk
Wow.
into the school?
You're making me dig.
Dang, I
I'm
know.
digging. That's when I started. So like
Yes,
that's
yeah, I remember you said grade 4, so it's probably the
yeah,
furthest back.
wow. So I mean, my mom would drop me off.
Yeah,
Um, she would so I would go in, I would and I kind of like a unique experience, and part of it, you get to say hi to everybody. You know,
right,
like you walk in, you say hi to Steve, you say hi to Fred, you say hi to this, say hi to
right.
that. Because lower school is all the way in the back, like it's all the way in the
Okay,
back. So you go through the front door and it's all the way.
yeah,
So you kind of like go through, and like the kind of unique experience was the fact that like everyone knew everybody
yeah,
and everyone knew you.
right,
So saying hi to everybody, and like they knowing that like you need to be in first class is like
right,
everyone knows it, you know. So you go there, I go to my class, I go to my locker, and everyone gets lockers, and
yeah,
like I put my stuff down, look at my schedule, I guess, and I would like I go to, I forget if there was homeroom in lower school. I that
yeah.
I can't think of, but
That's okay.
you go to your first class, and it would be this like a very like school, you know.
Regular
I
school,
would
yeah,
you would do school, and then you would do, I can't remember, high school was 2 classes or 3 classes, then 1 class in the afternoon, but I forget what, I think lower school was like
yeah,
two then snack, one then lunch, or something
right,
along those
okay,
lines.
yeah,
But then you go through the schedule, and snack, you can get recess outside if needed, and you get like, you can have a snack,
yeah,
and you would go through classes. I mean, I don't remember every class I went through, but
yeah,
Adam, you would have experienced the PODS program in math and language. Is that correct, in the lower school?
I think so. I don't
And
remember it
and then
completely,
the
but
afternoon would have been more of your kind of art and phys ed and those kinds of
yeah,
probably,
things.
okay,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, like I
Mhm.
said, it's digging back to when I first
yes,
started. So,
yeah,
but it was like a pretty like much like that.
can I
Adam's day never started at 8:30 and ended at 3:30. His went well before and well after. He was involved
right,
in lots of extracurricular
extracurricular,
sports.
Yeah,
okay,
I would show up.
Volleyball.
I would show up at 6:30 a.m. for basketball practice,
wow.
and then I would do like
Even when there
school, and
wasn't practice.
yeah, I would just show up. I
You'll
told you I
just
love
come,
to go to school. I love to
yeah,
go to school.
yeah.
So I'd show up at 6:30 for basketball practice. I'd go in, then I'd have class, and then lunch. There'd sometimes be like an intramural, or like a.
right,
If you look at the yearbooks between my grade 4 and like grade 12, look at the sports team pictures. It was me, me, me.
that's good.
You know, so like I was in every team, and then eventually when I got to grade 12, I kind of like found my like 4 sports that I did, because obviously my schedule filled up, but like
Yes,
I
yeah,
did everything. I did badminton, I did
nice,
ultimate
Bowling.
frisbee. I was a big
bowling,
bowler. I was a big bowler. I was a
nice,
champion bowler in the SSAF. So um I did that. So I was there, and then after school, during like, especially during like holiday time and playtime, I'd be
right,
there till 7:38. And I would like,
wow,
so I would be going home, and my mom would have to come pick me up. Ma, can you come pick me up now?
right,
So yeah, so I was involved in everything. And then even when I was like
right,
in class, I was involved in everything, you know, like
yeah,
setting up the smart boards. You know, they'd be like,
right,
Adam, go get the smart boards.
right,
And I was like, okay, I'll go get the smart boards, fix it and this. So like
right,
everyone knew me as like the tech guy there. And
right,
so it was kind of like, it was a very busy day as I kind of continued my life.
right, okay,
But when I came in, I was a very like standoffish, and very like, because it was my first time in the school, right? But I
right.
was very comfortable very quickly, because they kind of like made me feel like home. So
So you
And
come
and if and I guess if you recall from where you were before to there, how did you feel it was different from the get-go, like, you know, and in terms of both how you felt and then how the curriculum kind of meshed with you, as opposed to where you were before?
So I went to a Hebrew day school before.
Okay.
So it was half and half. So in the beginning,
Right.
I English in the morning, Hebrew at night,
All
or
right.
Hebrew in the
Yep.
afternoon. So already the curriculum was like 10 times
Totally.
easier because
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
all day what was like the English side of what I was
Right.
doing. But it was just like I think that what really made it was just the community. You know, like you would like the classes were smaller and like
Right.
you went in and like yes, there were like 10, 15 people in the class, but like I had Manira at the time. I don't know if she's still there, but she like was great in terms of like just knowing what each student they help you
Okay.
grasp it whether you want to or not. You know,
Right.
and not in a forceful way, but
I was
in
just
like
yeah,
in like a
organic
very
sort
like
of way.
if you don't understand it, they will stay all of lunch, or if you don't
Right.
understand it, you know what I mean? So things like that, like, it just kind of like made it. And
Okay.
if she wasn't available, X or Y would be available. You know what I mean?
Right.
Anyone would be available to help you.
Okay.
So yeah.
Can I add something, you know, to that question? You know, on from the point of view of a parent, Belinda, because you know, I think I've been in a very unique position during our school years because I'm one of the very rare parents that's always I'm always at school. Like I think Fred and Steve, like everybody is kind of like, oh my God, there she is.
She's there again.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, when something that's really nice about WillowWood, like, I mean, you're a parent, you send your child to school, and then you're kind of curious that, you know, how it goes there, right? And if your child is anything like my son, like I used to ask him when he was younger, how was your day? Good. What did you do?
Me too.
Nothing.
Me too.
Like that was the best. Like it was everything. Like what one you know, on point. So, you know, but from my point of view, when I was at school, there's a few things that was really interesting for me to see as a parent. One thing that Adam just mentioned, they care. The teachers care. They don't let the children to fall behind and forget about it, you know. And the pod program that they had, that was the best thing ever because it's so mixed. It's you know, maybe Fred and Steve, they can explain to you what it is exactly, but I've never seen anything like that in other schools. It's fantastic program, and you know, no one feels like they are better or worse than anybody else. You know, it kind of gives everybody that feeling of, you know, kind of, I don't know how to explain that. It's such a comfortable feeling to be there. And the other thing that's really interesting, you know, I'm talking about lower school mostly because that's where your child, I suppose, will be, right? The thing is that when they get, you know, because everybody sometimes can get overwhelmed in the classroom or, you know, especially let's say they just don't want to be in that class at that time, you know.
Right.
These things happen, and they do have the opportunity to kind of get out and, you know, have a little bit of fresh air, you know, just change their mood. And it's not in a bad way. They're not being punished, you know. They can just get out and breathe, and when they are ready, they can always go back, you know. It's a very comfortable environment for the lower school kids. I remember the first day that we went, because we had really bad experiences in other schools. And, it was so bad that we had to get my son out of the school right in the middle of the year. Like we just had to get out. Like it was like we couldn't continue that anymore.
Right.
We went to WillowWood. They have this one day that your child can go sit down in the class from the beginning of the day till noon, and they just get comfortable and see how it goes. And I remember my son was going in there hating school, and he was like, no, this is another school. He was like getting there with a frown. And at 12 o'clock, I picked him up. And at that time, John was still at school. He was the best teacher. Like all of them are great. But like, when he came out, the smile on his face, I
Oh,
never
that's
seen
funny.
anything like that. And he came out and said, "This is the best that's come."
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I know, and he hated his school. I'm telling you, he hated his school. Like,
It's
that's
true though.
yeah,
It's true.
yeah.
Can you explain more, I guess, about that pod program that you guys have referenced a couple times?
Sure. In the lower school, so the pod program exists up till grade 8. At the end till the
Okay.
end of grade 8, and basically the students are placed because of the way we approach things. There's not a stigma to kind of, if you need remedial support in a certain area, you go with that group. If you need
Right.
enrichment in another area, you go with that group. And so they base those pods more on levels or strategies that the kids need to be taught at any given
Right.
time. Kids will move from pod to pod when they're ready.
Right.
For example, IA's son actually did what we call reach ahead. When he was in grade 8, he did stuff with the high school because
Oh,
the grade 8 program, the pod
okay.
program, couldn't accommodate his level of learning for I think it was for math and English, IA?
It was for math at the beginning, and then because he fell ahead, then he was like, he had this empty spots, and school was accommodating. So okay, he has this spot. Then they put him into other.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he's a good example of one that he kind of moved to a higher
Yeah.
level for some stuff and was with the regular group for other stuff. There are kids that might need remedial approaches or again like strategy oriented
Yeah.
skills and you know, approaches to learning where you have to teach them how they're going to learn best
Right.
and you get an opportunity to focus on that in a smaller group in these pods that you might not get if you were teaching the full class. Now, having
Right.
said that, our classes are limited to 16. So
Right.
it's not like you're teaching a full class like you would be in a public school
Right.
or bigger private schools. It's one of the reasons why the COVID transition was so easy for us because
Right. Yes.
both ways, going online to teaching in March and keeping things going and you know, almost other than the activity part of things like basketball,
Right. Yeah.
other than that, the school part went fairly well. And now that we're back, it's actually fairly easy for the kids to be in class or be online, depending on the comfort level for their
Right.
parents.
Yeah.
Because we've just been, because of the class sizes, you know, we have room for 16 in a class if we need to. We can spread them
Right.
out. You know, there's no issues with any of that. But to go back to your original question,
Okay.
the pod system just allows us to sort of bring the kids along at the level they need to be at. Sometimes, you know, like I said, kids will move from pod to pod within the same year as they
Right.
get ready, because quite often kids will come to us not with they might be behind for circumstances that are related more to self-confidence and a comfort with learning and a confidence in learning than they are to their actual ability to retain concepts and learn new things, right?
Right. Right.
So that system allows for that in math and language arts in the lower school and the middle school.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. All right. No, I'm asking specifically because my my eldest, I don't it's a lack of, you know, I don't want to read. So I've always been with him. I think he always required something very specific because he is in a private school now and they do try to accommodate for his needs, but there's a lot of, okay, well, he has to do this reading on his own. So it's trying to figure out, okay, how do you motivate him to read? Well, I don't like reading. Well, okay, that's not, I don't think that's true because I think you like what you get from reading. You want to either be understanding more about gaming or you want to do mystery, you want to solve problems, or yet all this requires reading, right? You can only listen to so many YouTube videos. So
That sounds a little like you, Adam.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, he's very, very much into likes creating music, very artistic that way. Sports as well, but then he'll flip flop. Swimming is a definite, but will flip-flop where, well, I don't think I like soccer, but that's not necessarily true because it's probably more the interaction. Well, I don't want to hurt anybody in soccer, or they're too mean. Well, they're not really mean. They're just playing soccer, right? So a lot of little things where I think, you try and coach and you try and help and you try and be positive, and sometimes it doesn't always come out very positive from a parent perspective. But then again, it translated in school. So a great example was, they had a run for Thanksgiving. So he said they had them in their cohorts, of course. So there's only like 7 of them in the class. The rest are learning from home. So he goes, I said, well, how you said, well, we're practicing, Mom. So I said, well, how are you doing? He says, well, I said, well, that should be an easy run. There's only 7 you got in class. Well, at least I'll come in second. And I'm like, second? Well, what about first? Why wouldn't you? Let me understand this. Well, John, whatever his name was, well, he's really fast and he'll come. I'll go, well, okay. Well, why do you think so? You run pretty fast. Why wouldn't you feel like you could come first? What, maybe let's talk about this. So his dad gave him some techniques. I gave him a couple techniques, and he comes home the next day and the next day, so how was the run? Well, I came first. So again, he spoke to confidence. Again, it's like, he can do so many things, so smart, so great. But yet it doesn't always come out. It just gets squashed sometimes. It doesn't come out in all occasions, So when as I said, I was going through all the schools, and I used to drive by this school, by the way, every day for like years. I drove by the school because I come up Leslie and across Scarsdale, and then I get on to York Mills, and then I could pick them up from there. So I used to see the school all the time, and I thought, this would be interesting to explore, your learning concepts and how you approach learning, because I think it's important that when they go, they keep having that confidence, because to me, they build it. I can say what I want here, but I think from their parents, their teachers, it has to surround them, right? To lift them up and keep building that confidence, so they feel that they can do whatever they want. And he's more than capable.
That's what they do, Belinda, at WillowWood. It instills confidence.
Yeah.
And it's so rewarding.
Yeah. So I thought, okay, you know what, let me sign up and, ask some questions, meet some. I said, there's parents, there could be alumni. Well, this is perfect, right? You can hear.
It's a great forum. Yeah.
Yes, it's a great forum. Thank this is one of the good things probably that came out of COVID, right? The ability to gather everybody online and, have this sort of forum to ask questions and, meet parents, educators, alumni, to answer questions. Yeah.
It seems like Teresa is trying to log in, say something, but we can't really hear her. Teresa, can you say?
No. Can you hear me?
Oh, we can hear you. Yes.
Yep.
You can hear me.
Okay. Teresa, I spoke too much and asked too many questions.
No, not at all. Because you're a good question asker, and I'm not. I'm more of a listener, I guess. But someone had sent me a chat or a little message and said they wanted my email, so I just sent that over.
That was thank you.
Yeah. So I guess I know nothing about this school. The reason I'm kind of looking around and looking at different options is my son's in grade 8 and he's going into grade 9, and he has an IEP and learning disability in reading, so dyslexia. And I'm at that real crux in his life at grade 8 going into grade 9, what do we do? Do we stick with the public system and try and find something? There are some good public schools, I think, that can support, but what's out there for him, really seems like a really bright kid, but he's actually reading really much better now. We've done a lot of Orton Gillingham support, and now we're working on the writing. So we've kind of got the reading down. you know, at a certain sort of level. And now we're looking at the writing portion. And he would really love to be an engineer. He loves math, science, putting things together, pulling things apart, that whole kind of idea. And I'm looking for something like, where is he going to be able to flourish, because he doesn't fit that little box that, you know, the public school system tends to want people to fit into. So, yeah, so I don't know if I have any particular questions. I guess I'm just wondering if, you know, if the profile of my child is something that can be dealt with at your school. And I know nothing about WillowWood. I've just been starting to look into things. So I'm just sort of really open.
It's definitely the profile we're used to dealing with. You know, the language challenges come in different forms. Obviously, dyslexia is one of them, but they're, you know, when the teacher kind of understands that that's a major functioning disability or ability of a child, they know in the classroom that they're going to approach teaching that child differently when the time comes that's going to be an issue. So if you're teaching, Steve's a science teacher, if Steve's teaching science, and that kid is really into science and learning science, and there's going to be that moment where he has to read, and reading is a challenge for him, Steve's going to find ways to accommodate that in the classroom so that he doesn't miss out on the excitement of the learning that he's really keen on. And I think Adam could tell you that better than anybody. I was going to just tell one quick little story, because I know you know, this Our Kids fair is usually a big fair at Roy Thompson Hall, and we all kind of stand around in front of a little booth, and people come up and talk to us. And one year, all of a sudden, I saw Aya there with her husband, and I went, "What are they doing here? He can't be leaving WillowWood."
I remember that.
And so, you know, I was doing her due diligence as a parent to make sure WillowWood was the right place for her son as a high school student who has quite high aspirations, you know, in terms of his learning, and that we could still continue with the program that was going to work for him in high school. So, you know, I'll let both IA and Adam speak, because Adam can speak to your question about, you know, would it be the right place for him? And I think Aya can make a comment on that too. So Adam, I'm going to call you out on this one. What do you think?
So we're talking on just like accommodations, and like, so I was diagnosed with like full accommodations, the whole full circle thing. And I'm an auditory learner. So every test and every textbook and every, like I when I read stuff, I was reading words, right? So like I guess a little different, but like I read to read. So when I got like my accommodations, I used Kurzweil for everything. So Kurzweil is a speech to or text to speech software. So I used it for everything. So I got my textbooks digital, and I got an extra room to write my tests, and I got extra time, and I found that it really helped me, because like I was not a multiple choice person. I am not a read this and write an essay. So so it kind of helped to know that like I can keep reading and reading and reading, and like in terms of my writing, even I could have a scribe, or I could have someone with me to type it for me, and even just write ideas. And it kind of helped my like confidence to go into a room when like some people had an hour and a half or 2 hours to do a test or an exam. I had 3.5 hours to listen to my text as much as I wanted. I listened to my test, have someone sit with me and write what they need to write. And I could sit there until it was done. And instead of stressing about how much time do I have left. So so go ahead.
No, I was just concerned.
Oh, sorry, Teresa, go ahead.
No. I didn't have a question. You go ahead.
Oh yeah, so that
A quick question, Adam. So, do you was that helpful? Were you able then, I guess, at the end of the day, you feel throughout your career, so not necessarily at that moment when you're writing the test, to still communicate in writing if you chose to, not necessarily under a test format, saying that you have to complete something in 2.5 hours, but if you were to just casually have to write something to someone, maybe today,
Like an email.
you found that you still have that ability to convey your thoughts and ideas, I guess, um, in a in a fashion that's appropriate, even though you had those kind of audio kind of accommodations.
So like when I write an email now to like
Yeah,
when I'm doing whatever, I read it out loud. When I'm typing,
interesting.
I'm like,
Okay,
"Hi, Miriam. My name is Adam." You know what I mean? Like I'm
I kind of do
fully
that
reading
too
out loud.
myself. So I just find it
Yeah,
very fascinating. It's interesting. Yeah. And
yeah.
even my
I've
son has asked me to do that when he's writing, like he will speak to me and I will type on his behalf. And I let it go because I thought it's his ideas. I'm just typing what he's saying. But for some reason, he couldn't do it from brain to paper. I was his conduit. But I thought it was a very bizarre thing. But I thought, okay, I'll just go with it because he's getting it out. He's doing the work, just
right.
not in maybe a conventional manner. Right.
Yeah, and
So
I mean,
that's interesting.
at WillowWood, there's no conventional manner, right? There's no
Right.
like
Yeah.
everyone
I,
has their own manner
interesting.
of doing thing, and that to me is what
Yeah.
made it unique, right? Because I can go into
That's
Anne's
awesome.
room, I can go into
Yeah.
Anne's room and there's a laptop for me there every time,
That's
and I have
awesome.
my headphones. I
Yeah.
would do my test, and I would sit there until it got done. And now I'm always I sit at my computer, and
Yeah.
I write it out loud. Hello,
That's
this,
amazing.
and when I get an email, I read it. And I've always been a phone person, right? Like
Right. Yep. Yeah.
I will make the phone call rather than
Yeah.
sit there and write 10 emails back and
Oh
forth.
gosh, I
Uh,
hear
Ad-
you.
Adam's being a little bit
Bless
humble.
you.
Adam's writing skills improved dramatically from grade 9 to grade 12. And I know
Oh,
that
I can
because
imagine.
him and I work together on his English essays quite often. So, he is very much able to write
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
in a very,
Because it's about communication, I guess, and that's and
it's
I'm
just,
very much a phone person. This whole thing with the COVID and this email back and forth is killing me. Like, it just please let's talk. I know, So I totally get that. It's yeah.
so
Yeah,
Laye, can you speak to it a little bit?
Yes, sure, actually. Well, I don't know about dyslexia, but I've definitely seen kids with that challenge at Willowwood. Uh, but, uh, like Fred was kind enough to say that, yeah, Armin is rich ahead and everything, but, and that's true. He is ahead in so many subjects and he's really bright. But his really weak point was always writing. So he hated like writing by pen and writing by hand. It was tedious. And like Adam said, he could have like extra time. He always needs extra time for the exams and everything, and he used that. And the good, like the funny thing is that I don't know, like I said, it's like magic. I don't know how it happens, but as he as he progressed during these years that he's been at Willowwood, uh, you know uh, he kind of gets better at everything. He's good at writing and typing and everything right now, but uh, surprisingly he's also good at writing with hand these days. Like it's just easy. He's not gonna write like a 10-page essay, but he's more comfortable writing with his hand. And also I think it was Teresa, correct me if I'm wrong, was that you said you're looking for something out of the box, or was
Yeah,
it?
yeah. I guess I was just saying that, in the public system, as good as the local school is, it's great. There's just a very, I don't know, structured expectation of how someone is supposed to be and what it means to excel and, sit in your desk and do this, do that kind of thing. It's, I'm sure you all understand that. And they've got a lot of
Yeah.
numbers to deal with, so it's hard. So I guess, I've always found my son very interesting and very bright, but some of these, the rubric like, I hate that friggin' rubric, right? Like, yeah, this is the school's idea of checking the boxes on how everything, you know, has to be. So anyway, yeah, I was looking for something that doesn't, you know, I don't know, what is it? It lets him flourish in his own brilliance, you know, his own little brilliance.
Yeah.
That's for sure is
Well,
WillowWood.
that's WillowWood.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
WillowWood.
That's
because
WillowWood.
It's, you know, we've been in another private school, and we've also been in public school.
Hmm.
I can tell, like, it just didn't work. Like, at
Yeah.
WillowWood, the kids are allowed to be themselves, and they're allowed to be human beings. They have strong points, they have weak points, and it's
Right.
okay, you know. And everybody is there to, like, honestly, I'm not just saying this because we are, you know, because Fred is sitting here or Steve is sitting here, and I'm not saying that. This is really what happened for us
Yeah, it does.
at WillowWood. The teachers care. It is not okay for the kids to feel bad and to feel left behind and to feel, you know, different. They do something about it. In other schools, they say, you know, they say about a lot of things about it, but I honestly, I didn't see anything being done about it. At WillowWood, they probably won't say much, but they do it.
Did the, yeah.
So
And
thank you for that. I think at this point, I think we need to start asking our questions of our panel. Steve, is that correct?
I think so.
Yeah, so I think I'll start with Julia, because she was just about to say something anyway. So I'm going to ask you, Julia, why did you choose WillowWood in the first place? And in what ways were we what you expected, and maybe what ways not?
okay, so I'm going to be really frank. Just like some of the other parents, Michael was in a Catholic school, then he went to a private school, and we went to WillowWood in grade 4. And it really has transformed our lives as a family. Michael's a beautiful little boy who unfortunately required extra attention for whatever reasons, and I won't judge. Catholic school is a public school, but even in the private school, they were not able to accommodate him. And I was shocked to see a 6-year-old to have low self-esteem. Being the only child we have, late life parents, I was astonished at the lack of commitment. WillowWood, I had heard about it from some parents whose children are Adam's age, and we had coffee, and I said to my husband, we have to get it right the third time. And we met with Jill, who's the principal of the junior school, and I cannot say, without getting emotional, we won the lottery. There's accountability, there's a strong sense of self-worth. I can't come up with anything negative. And I think what really is so important to me as a parent, all of the parents there want the best for their children, not at the cost of anyone else's children. There's community, there's inclusion, there's mutual respect and caring. It covers everything. It encompasses everything that I grew up to believe was what school should be for a child. And Teresa, your son, as you know, is at such a sensitive age and pivotal time in his education. And what WillowWood does do, and I can't speak to the higher grades, but the pods. So if he's strong in an area, he really flourishes. And if he's struggling in another area, they do it with dignity. There's no shaming. And, you know, Michael wants friends. And since going to WillowWood, that's important. It's not about popularity. That's not it at all.
Yeah.
But I don't pay for expensive play dates anymore. He's navigated and made his own friends. And he's so happy. And we're happy as a family because there's nothing more emotionally draining in a household when you can't help your child at school. You know, you can beg, you can plead, you can follow the chain of command and hope that someone embraces your requests. But Michael is such it's such a gift, Willowwood. There's no negative, and I'm not saying this, Fred. I speak from the heart. I'm a very emotional person. But you know what? Will and I and Michael were so happy. And again, he's doing well. He's doing very well. And when we first went in, my husband said, you know, is it academic enough? Or I don't know. It is. It is not it's not a free ride. They're learning tough stuff. Like I'm Googling to help Michael with grade 6 math. You know, I will never sell it short. I speak so loud and proud about it, and I can't tell you it. They should be consultants for public schools. They should be consultants because they can't make your child friends with everyone, but they'll make sure that he's doing well and he's not left out. And to me, at this stage, if we can't help our children while they're in school, that underlines so many future problems as adults. So, you know, I guess I'm talking too much, but I'm being very frank. It truly is the best school.
Not at
and,
all.
You know, my husband and I both went to private schools in Toronto, and there's no comparison.
Well, you know, it's funny because I grew up in the public system in Toronto, and I know from my own experience, it's all dependent on the teacher. If
the luck
you
of the
get a
draw.
great teacher, you can get through and have really successful time. And if you get a bad teacher or a teacher that doesn't care, as you had the experience, it seems, that makes all the difference in the world. And you know, the one thing about our staff is everybody cares. They all want, you know, if there's a problem with a kid, they're trying to figure it out. How can we help this kid? They're not putting it, you know, why doesn't that kid cooperate with me? It's the other, how can I get him to cooperate? What's the issue and how can we figure it out? I'm going to ask you the same question, but I'm going to ask you it directed to the high school because you made that decision consciously to come back. You went and saw what was out there and decided that WillowWood was the best place for high school. So I'm going to ask you to answer that question in relation to the high school.
Yeah, in relation to high school. But actually, yes, that's true. We were trying to figure out, you know, after the transition from grade 8 to 9 and going to high school, okay, is this, you know, good enough for him in terms of going to university? And like I said, Armin is a really, really bright kid. And we were not we were not intimidated by, you know, having these exams. You know, some schools have these exams and you have to go to the exam, and then, you know, and they have these really high ratings of if you go to this school and that school, you're guaranteed to go, I don't know, to U of T or whatever. We were just searching to see, okay, you know what, the high school, very pivoting point, let's see what's out there. And we went to that convention and we were looking around. We chose a couple of schools, not a couple, but I think we chose 4 or 5, you know, these top, you know, like everything shiny kind of schools. And I started searching and I started going, you know, we actually went out and, you know, talked to them. We went out and see the schools. I talked to the principals, and there was a few things in there that made us actually go back to WillowWood. First thing was, like Julia said, and I know I'm talking about high school, but very first day when we went into high school, like when we wanted to sign up for WillowWood, Armin was grade 3, so he was in lower school, and I obviously talked to Jill about it. And the first thing that kind of settled us down was that she was so real, you know. And then throughout the years, we figured out everybody at WillowWood is real. You know, you talk to them, they're not sugarcoating anything, okay? And then when I went to these high schools, you know, these fancy high schools with all these promising things and everything, I was looking and say, and I was thinking to myself, I don't think Armin can survive a week in there, because it was all shiny and nice. But then I have been in other schools before. I knew what it's like behind the scene, and I was comparing it to WillowWood, and I was thinking, okay, you know what? no, this is not the thing, because it's not just about academics for us. It's not just about academics. I mean, he can do well anywhere he goes, but it's about that sense of community. Like when he goes to school, he's not going to school, he's going to another family home. You know, that's how Willowwood is. That's how Willowwood feels like, you know. And they care about everything. They care about his mental well-being, they care about his physical well-being. And also, you know, it's the curriculums that they're offering and the teachers that they have, honestly, they're the best. They're really, really good teachers, you know. And that's what I was thinking, that, you know what, why should we, you know, like Julia said, when we went to Willowwood, it was like winning the lottery. And I was thinking, you know what, that's stupid. Why should we just throw it away? We did win the lottery one time, and you know what, I'm so happy we stayed. I am so happy, especially after this pandemic. Honestly, the transition between the schools when everywhere was closed, I was talking to other friends. They had kids in public school. They had
Yeah.
kids in private school, really high, you know, profile private schools. We didn't miss a day of class at Willowwood. Online transitions was so good, and it was
Yes.
so smooth, and it was just fantastic. And I was talking to other people, and they were miserable with this. I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy.
Okay, I'm going to cut you off, IA, because I have to ask Adam a question. Adam, what did you appreciate most about the school when you were there? And how has your perspective on that changed as you've become an adult, or has it changed?
I mean, like everyone's been saying, it was a very big sense of community, right? You walk in, you say hi to everybody, you go to class, and you do what you need to do. But like, honestly, what made the impact for me, and what differentiates Willow, I know this is another question, but like what differentiates WillowWood from anyone else is that, like, if you want to sing in the play, you're singing in the play. If you want to do tech, you want to do tech. If you need one-on-one help, you got your one-on-one help. If you want to if a teacher needs to stay till 7:30 to make you grasp what algebra is, then like they will, you know, like they will sit there. Right, exactly. Like we've been there, you know, like I'm pretty sure the longest I've ever stayed at school is probably 10 o'clock. You know, like I've stayed late, and that's not because like
It's late.
A couple of nights out.
Yeah, I've been there. And that's not because I was like trapped. It was because I needed.
But now that you're looking back, like, has that changed how you look at it as an adult?
It changes how I look at WillowWood. I mean, it makes me wish it was longer. You know, I wish I could be there forever. You know, because like it allowed me to realize that I can do what I want. Right, like a lot of the systems, like I mean, I don't know anything about public school system personally, but like I go in there and I know that I could be myself, and that's what made me comfortable from the get-go. Right, I went into grade 4 and I knew that I could do this. Like I'm pretty sure, like when I came in with my mom and like as a trial, whatever, they said you could do tech crew. I was sold, you know, and like I was sold. Because like I was not a front of the stage kind of guy. I was like, and whatever. And so like I needed one-on-one help with my academics. I got it, right? Like I was in one of those, like, I forget what we call it, but like Anne's group, or like the small groups with 3 students in a class, and they'll go even more in depth into the curriculum and stuff. And that also helped. And it's, to me, like, it made me realize that you can do what you want, and you could be what you want, and you could, and now I'm like, I never thought I could be in the entertainment industry and make money and love it. And you know, like I knew that, like when I was even applying for universities and stuff, I was like, I'm going to apply to business school, but Dina said, like, you know, we're going to apply to Ryerson, we're going to apply here, we're going to apply there, because you can do media and business, you could do this and that, because like it's a very, like, you can do what you want, right? Like you don't have to apply to business school just because you have 75% or just because you have 85%. The grades didn't matter, you know. I mean, they mattered, don't get me wrong, but like,
yeah,
like they don't matter in the grand retrospect of things, and that you could be yourself, you could do what you want and be yourself, and that it kind of transitioned into my life now, because I say, of course I could do this, you know. I don't
Right.
think of the devil's advocate in like what I do, because I can do it, you know.
Well, I'm going to ask all
Yes, sir.
three of you. I'm going to ask all three of you, but I'll start with Adam. What would you change about the school? And Adam, I'm going to tell you one of the things you would change. I bet we've already done. We've added the audio technicians course to the high school curriculum. We're teaching it as a credit course now, which we didn't have when you were there. So.
I mean, like that, if that's one thing, you know, like that's, I didn't get to get school credit for what I did for half of my time at WillowWood, you know, like not half, over half. Like I did tech crew I was probably in the tech room more than I was in the classroom. No, I'm just kidding.
Probably like 400 community service hours too.
Probably, I mean, I had 100 community service hours in the first year, you know, at my first high school. In grade 9, I had all my community service hours, over 40. I didn't record all of them, but I got all, like I did them. And what would I change? I mean, like I said, it'd be longer, but like, there's nothing really I would change besides adding more tech courses, which they did. As soon as Fred told me that on an email, I was like, I need to go back to high school. Like, I would like to go. I mean, like, fail me for that art credit. I will come back. Take away my degree. But nothing really would change, because like I graduated with like pride. Like I left that school. They asked me to write a letter that's, I hope, still hanging on that
It's
wall.
in the front lobby. Adam's letters hanging proud in the front lobby. It is. Yeah.
Yeah. So they asked me, write a letter about your experience at WillowWood, and like, I'm pretty sure in there I wouldn't change a thing. You know, I wouldn't change a thing about my experience there, because even when there were downtimes, which everyone has them, in terms of your academics or your extracurriculars or your time management or your organization skills, which I had a lot of those, time management, organization was not strong. And now it is because of them. And by the time you're done there, it's like a whole new world, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, would you change anything? You've been here a couple of years now.
No,
Oh, okay.
because, I'm sorry, was it Julia or?
No, Julia first, and then.
Okay,
Oh,
go ahead, Julia.
Sorry. Well, my answer is the same as yours, and I'm not just saying this, but no, there's nothing I would change. We're so happy. He's happy. I look at Adam, and I can only hope that Michael, you know, grows up to be a fine, well-adjusted young man. That's all we want. Grades don't define you, but they are important. Absolutely. People work hard for them. But no, we are so happy. And I say it again from the heart, like it's such a sense of belonging, and it's absent in far too many workplaces and schools. I'm not knocking public schools, because it's the luck of the draw on that too. But yeah, no, we're happy, and I honestly can't say I would change anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't change anything either. And the reason is, you see, WillowWood is like an organism. It's live. It's alive. Is it perfect? No, but nothing is perfect in life, right? But the thing about WillowWood is that, you know, if at the moment, if we kind of see that, okay, there is a problem here, they're going to fix it, or they're going to do their best to fix it, right? Is everything perfect? I don't know, but it's working, and we're really, really happy. And you see, the fact that I wouldn't change anything, first of all. And the fact that, you know, the fact that I don't want to change anything doesn't mean that nothing will be like unchanged. WillowWood is alive. Like it's always changing. You know, I think that's one of the reasons that I wouldn't change anything about it, because it's always evolving and changing in a good way itself. And honestly, we're happy. And as long as we're happy, we're happy.
So, Steve, I think our time is up. Am I correct?
Officially, yeah.
Yes. So what I want to think, we picked the word limitless as part of our slogan for a reason, and it's guys like Adam, right? Adam was part of that original campaign of our when we shifted gears in how we market the school. Adam was part of that. And the reason why we picked that word because of these guys, we started to see that if we gave them learning in a certain way, they could choose to be whoever they wanted to be. And Adam's a great example of that. And he's got tons of peers and alumni that are in similar situations to him. I want to thank everybody, Julia, Belinda, Teresa, for dropping in, for helping us out. Adam, really appreciate. We'll get you in as a guest speaker for the tech class.
I hope so. That'd be great.
And Steve, thanks for organizing this. And
yeah, my pleasure. Thank you so much, Julia, and Adam, not just for the roundtable, but you guys really reminded me of why I'm at WillowWood once again, and it's beautiful to hear. I don't cry in public, but who knows what's going to happen after I sign off.
All the time, every graduation I cry.
Stop it. So what I did want to mention to Belinda and Teresa, I'm doing guided virtual tours on April 15th and 20th. Belinda, I think I already sent you an email.
Yes, you did. Yep.
Yeah, so it's basically through Google 360 virtual tours. I just take you through a walk through the school, show you all the facilities.
Okay.
And then for Belinda, I think the next step, I don't know if I gave you Jill's contact info.
I think so. I got to go back in my email,
I can send
possibly.
you an email anyway, because
Okay.
she's the one that you want to speak to next, because she's our core school principal.
Okay.
And Teresa, I will send you a brochure. I'll send you the dates when we're having the virtual tours. And I'll also,
Thank you.
yeah, my pleasure. And if you can't make the virtual tour, I'll also give you a link to the actual Google 360 website, so you could go for a walk through the school yourself.
And you can still come and visit. You can still come and visit and wear a mask, and I'll take you around personally.
That'd be even better. Fred's a better tour guide than I am, hands down. So yeah, I'll be in contact with you guys tonight or tomorrow.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for visiting. Adam, thanks again.
All right.
Of course,
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
Fred.
you.
Have a good
See you.
evening.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank
It was really
Bye.
nice
Bye.
to see you. And Julia and Adam, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay,
Good night.
Take care.